Footy is back. That's right. G'day, I'm Simon Goodwin. No, I'm not Simon Goodwin. Maybe I'm Stats Guy's mate, Craig Goodwin. No, I'm neither. I'm Jaymz Clements, and I'm your host here at AFL Today. That's right, your new favourite one-stop shop for all things AFL footy. And joining me for this, you little beauty, it's the Midweek Madness before round 3 of the AFL. Got the local ding guy, or as we call them here, AFL experts. That's right, we've got Alex Donnelly over there, fresh off besmirching the good name of Wagga by being from there. What's going on, Alex?
I mean, it's better than being from Ballarat.
No, it's
not. It clearly is.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I reckon Ballarat would beat Wagga in a fight.
Oh, man, we've got the juvie. We'd win.
We've got way more knives.
I agree with Jim on this one.
Just saying. We've also got fresh off his star-making turn on the official AFL SuperCoach podcast yesterday. It's the Stats Guy, McAllion. What's going on, Stats Boy?
Absolutely. That was really good fun on the SuperCoach show. Finally, got to talk all that stuff I talk about in the office on the show.
Swears
so
guy.
absolutely love it.
Yeah, he also did lots of swears.
Yeah, lots. Yeah, the word crap.
Great job. Anyway, this is the AFL Today show. It's the Midweek Madness show. So what do we do on the Midweek Madness show? We have the Midweek Winner of the week. We've got some yeah-nahs. We have the big calls for the week, which can either be looking forward, looking back. We've also got the Thursday night footy preview and a little bit of a SuperCoach vibe. The good thing is this week, not much really major has happened. So we don't have too much to talk about.
No,
Not at all.
Wait a minute. Well, before we get into that, of course, check us out on YouTube. Follow AFL Today across all the socials. Smash us on Spotify. I think, look, I have heard time and time again, you got to really dig in to find the stars on Spotify to rate and review and stuff.
I think it's easy.
Yeah, I think you got to hit like one of the 3 dots and something like that and then go in there. Got to listen to a few episodes too, so please listen in.
So get right around it, wherever you get your podcasts, watch the stuff. You can watch this, in this fancy new studio. But either way, footy is back. Let's get into it. Midweek winner of the week. I don't know.
The AFL got 10 grand last night, so them.
Elbow?
Yeah.
Elbow's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
It's like, in Parliament last night, Andrew Wilkie was like, oh yeah, drugs. And then everyone's like, what? Barnaby's just like, I'm in. They went just out of nowhere. And it's like, no, we need to talk about footy and drugs. And everyone's like, and Elbow's
So what did the West Tigers do this time, or the Canterbury Bulldogs?
It's usually about the NRL, isn't it? Yeah.
This time it's the AFL, and it's to do with former AFL doctor at the Melbourne Football Club, Dr. Zeshane Arain. So this was all brought up. Basically, Andrew Wilkie talking in Parliament, bringing attention to the deeply troubling allegations of egregious misconduct. Those are some good words.
That's great work.
Provided by the former president of the Melbourne Footy Club, Glenn Bartlett, right? So there's obviously been a big chatter about him and the way that he and the club have gone about things, and obviously I think he was out of a gig 8 months after hanging out with Gill and co.
Yes.
And going, hey, yeah, our drug testing sucks. What are we doing? Maybe we should have drug testing for executives. And they're like,
you're fired.
I'm out.
And away they went. But look, the allegations are obviously crazily serious, because it's talking about how doctors have basically been trying to cover up illicit drug use by saying that, look, you have to tell the club that you have an injury.
Yeah.
Rather than you were on the disco bickies on the weekend and say that you've got a hammy instead.
It explains a few things, at the Melbourne Footy Club over the last couple of years.
But it's not just Melbourne, it sounds like it's systemic across the whole.
Probably, yeah.
Obviously. So this is the old smoke, fire corollary. And it's a tricky one, because obviously it's super serious, and the AFL came out today with a big statement saying, what was it, 12 paragraphs of
nothing.
I don't know anything. We know nothing. But really, it's essentially them going, right, there is a level of confidentiality, obviously, between players and doctors, and we don't want to breach that. So unless the player wants to go, yes, I was on the trucker speed on the weekend, they're not going to say that, obviously.
No.
They're going to go, my knee's flaring up a little bit. The doc reckons I should take this week off because it's like they're conducting urine tests, right?
Yeah.
Which give you like an indication of whether or not there's illicit drugs in the system. That would be termed as performance enhancing. So they can't get, if they don't play, they're not getting tested for that sort of stuff because they're injured. They can't get pinged by WADA and co for performance enhancing drugs.
This also just goes to saying that the whole setup that the AFL has needs to be completely overhauled. And it's like, well, you're in competition all the time.
Yeah.
You can be randomly door knocked and tested at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. And if you're positive, unlucky.
As I think it was
Deal with
talked about last year, it's just way too lenient. You get 3 strikes. Every other part of the society, you're not getting 3 strikes. So
Well,
I don't know about that.
It's also like you have a look at the 2 Swans girls that got arrested
Yeah,
for having
yeah.
cocaine on them. They've been handed 2 match suspensions. Obviously different. They didn't test positive. They were literally arrested and have 12-month good behaviour bonds. But it's sort of similar. It's like, hey, why not bring in something similar into the men's? Something, I don't know what you can do, but it's clear that the whole system needs an overhaul. 3 strikes doesn't work because every player is, not every player, but a lot of players are clearly playing up.
I'm here for the 3 strikes vibe because they are illicit substances. It is illegal.
But then why is it 3 strikes if it's illegal?
Well,
That's what I reckon,
Literally
yeah.
illegal in society.
But the problem is if you can't bring up criminal charges, then that's where you sort of get into this murky area, right? So
It is a weird one.
If you get this like weird sort of systemic, this dude just keeps going.
What
bang
happens
on.
if LeBron tests positive to cocaine tomorrow?
The NBA covers it up.
yeah, exactly. That's any other player not
Adam Silver like just throws himself in front of that bullet. Hey!
100%. You're
Okay, Jaymz.
So
I'm trying to think of like if a big name gets
comparison,
caught, yeah.
What this all comes down for me is integrity, right? It's the integrity of the game. It's the integrity of injury reporting and this sort of stuff. And when you talk about the NBA, we just had literally a massive story break yesterday in the NBA about Jonte Porter and betting. And this brings again into the integrity of the game. If it had been LeBron who had been going, hey boys, bet on my unders for this weekend because I might just take myself out of the game.
Yeah.
That would be a much bigger deal than Jonte Porter doing it, but Jonte Porter still doing it really brings into like the game into disrepute. It really makes you question the integrity of the game. This sort of stuff as well. And like, you know, we all have a betting background, of course, but talking about this sort of stuff and the integrity of the game, taking somebody out and going, right, stats boy, you were on the gear on the weekend.
I wasn't.
We're going to have to say that your knee is flared up. And you go, okay, please don't test me. All I want is transparency, like across the board. And like, if we have to say personal reasons and everyone's like,
everyone leaves that one alone.
What are we doing? That's fine. Like that sort of stuff. I just kind of want a little bit more across the board. 3 strikes I'm still fine with. Personal reasons, whether it be stuff like that. If someone's going through some stuff, obviously this is what we get to.
But
it does need to like have like really clear landmarks, statements.
It's a bit all over the shop
away
at the
we go.
moment,
At the moment, it's a bit of a mess. So.
Yeah.
But it's like, it is crazy. Like the way that Wilkie brought it up in Parliament was, this is not conjecture with Dr. Rain describing the matter clearly in his signed statement where he states the off-the-books testing took place at Heidelberg Dorovich. The former
Why
chief
does
health
everything
officer.
keep happening near where I live?
Maybe it's all you.
Are you
Like we had that guy who took all the bookies' money last year. That was in Thornbury. Why does it keep happening near me?
So he said to Parliament, here's what happened has been described to me.
Yeah.
The AFL wants the player to play at all costs, and so the cover-up begins.
Yep.
If there are no illegal drugs in the play system, they are free to play. If there are drugs in their system, the player is often asked to fake an injury. If they are advised to lie about a condition while the results of the off-the-book tests, which is obviously the urine test and stuff like that, it all like are kept secret and are never shared with the Sports Integrity Australia or WADA. So basically, he went on to say, like, hundreds of thousands of Australians don't realise that the game has been secretly manipulated by the AFL. It is weird. It sucks. I don't know if the game is being secretly manipulated in this sort of case, but I just sort of want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit too hidden by the sounds of it.
But that, not a bit too. It's definitely,
it's
a very closed door shop.
It screams Bush League sketchy AF stuff, right?
Yes.
And not cool. Right. So, was that our midweek winner of the week or what? I'll tell you what, the AFL media are the midweek winners of the week this week because we've now got stuff to talk about.
That's true.
For the next 3 months, I think, basically based on that.
But they also picked up 10 grand with Max King's appeal last night. That's a free 10 grand to the AFL. Well done.
There you go.
Midweek winner of the week as well. Look, the Roos and the Blues play Good Friday, the massive Good Friday game at Marvel.
Awesome charity.
And this is always an amazing game. And the lead up to that as well, when they talk about the Good Friday appeal in the Royal Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
Like my squid, my eldest, he's been in there before, and like the people there are amazing. He actually had to go in there during COVID with some pretty rough asthma gear. And they were still amazing. And it was just like brutal. And then like, that's just like nothing compared to what some of those other kids go through. So good on the Roos and the Blues for doing their bit. Love that.
Are the Roos wearing the sick alternate kit like they did last year, that like purpley thing?
We made a new one. Actually, this came out yesterday.
Hell yeah.
I didn't like the one from last year, but I really like the one this year. It's the Bounding Roo.
I love different kits.
Bounding Roo with the purple stripes, and then you've got green on the outside. It looks nice,
now.
Also, midweek winner of the week, over in the US, Shohei Ohtani in the betting scandal. He's like, Ha 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 ha. Luckily, Jonte Porter did his thing. And also, a ship hit a bridge and completely dominates the news. And Shohei Ohtani's like,
thank God,
laughing in Japanese, just really nervously.
That Guernsey's sick, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Righto, there you go. So the midweek winners of the week, we
Not
have lots
Baltimore.
of drug talk, apparently. Yeah, nah, let's do it. Yeah, nah. Should West Coast get a handout/draft concessions this year if they finished last? Yeah, nah, Alex.
Nah, they went all in on Tim Kelly after they won the 2018 grand final, gave Geelong a absolute boatload of picks, which then in turn turned to Jeremy Cameron and Geelong winning a flag. They are suffering the consequences of their actions for going all in once again. You do not deserve a handout for screwing up.
All right, nobody urine test Alex Donnelly. Stats guy?
I'll say no as well. I didn't even think North, my team, probably should have got one. I don't think any team should get that when they stuffed up. North, especially, when Alex and I talked about it during the week, stuffed up a lot of their draft picks and things like that, or trades.
There's this great graphic of the players that North Melbourne went after that everyone just went no. It was like Isaac Heaney, Jordan DeGoey, Josh Kelly,
Dustin Martin.
Yeah, it was just everyone just like, no.
Yeah, I think a part of it comes down to the club just stuffing up. Obviously, West Coast have had a lot of injuries, but they've picked the wrong people.
That's also something that's going on wrong there at West Coast.
Exactly.
It is not something that's affected their whole club. Like, yes, COVID was bad, but they went all in. They also made the finals in 2020.
Yeah.
So, no.
I think the point being, if it's a mess of your own making, no.
Exactly.
Also, I don't think any team should get handouts draft concessions because I think it unnecessarily complicates the entire situation.
Yep.
And basically, the point of the draft and stuff like that should be just as clear cut and as straight,
as even
as you possibly can have it, and go, here we go. Yeah. I still think we should have a draft lottery in the AFL similar to the NBA. But we go with the NFL sort of way of just reverse your order and away you go.
Yep.
If you've made your own mess, you made your own bed, you got to line it, sucked in. Should the MRO and tribunal be a full-time job, according to, this is one of Barb's, isn't it?
It is, Barb's.
With sanctions being handed out the day after games and cases being able to held during the day, rather than after 5 p.m. on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Yes. What are we doing here? It's 2024. How's the trial? Oh, we're going to wait till Tuesday night to
at
find out
10:30 sometimes as well.
Chaos.
It's ridiculous.
It's so
David
dumb.
Zeta's in there. He's not happy.
I know that straight away, we do have this straight away idea of all right, they've offered this, they've done that straight away, basically, right? But then the tribunal rolls out. It's like, can we just knock it over? What are we doing here?
So it honestly should be. So if something happens in Thursday night's game, just say, I don't know, Nick Dacos elbows someone in the face. Friday morning, the AFL come out, even though it's Good Friday and not everyone works on Good Friday. It's like, well, you're the AFL, it's the middle of the season, you work weekends. All right, Nick Dacos, straight to the tribunal.
This is rich coming from a bloke who won't work Thursday night.
Hey.
Jeez.
And then
I had to do 2 shows today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cries.
Give me more money.
Crying intensifies.
Give me more money. But it is. It should be full time because it's like, all right, cool. Monday afternoon while we've got Geelong and Hawthorn going on, Nick Dacos will be at the tribunal. We'll have that result by 6 o'clock. Done.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday. I don't care. Just get it done.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The match review office comes out.
24 hours.
Is it partly to do with the Fox Footy, for example, love broadcasting this whole thing for it?
No, it's literally because Michael Christian's job is not full time.
Yeah.
He's on his farm at Longwood going, how good's Bella Nipotina?
Yeah, okay.
Nice one.
Great bloke, Chris.
I think we're years all across the board.
Definitely, yeah.
Are North ahead of Hawthorn in their rebuild, they say, after a couple of games?
I know it's too early, isn't it?
Yeah, nah.
Nah. Hawthorn have won 10 more games over the last 2 years.
Hawthorn are also beset by injuries this year. Let's just pump the brakes.
Nah.
I think this is an easy question to ask and go, oh, geez, I'm a bit more worried about Hawthorn after. It's like, yeah, they're missing half their team.
I had to think about it, though. So Leo, obviously on the show as well, has written down here, North's got 4 top 5 picks the last 2 years versus Hawks 1. I did have a think about this. Last year, I would have said definitely Hawks. But if you're looking at the younger guys from the Hawks compared to the younger guys from North, I'm not just being biased as a North fan. I think a lot of people would take a lot of the younger guys from North.
Hawthorn were competitive last year. You weren't.
Yeah, you might also say that you are just wildly biased.
Yeah.
No, but I think a lot of people would agree with me there. And Leo, even behind the camera, as a Hawks fan, is nodding. So
you have won 5 games in 2 years.
I know, but in the next 2 years,
he's only won 5.
In 2 years' time, I think a lot of our younger
on.
guys will be closer to not all Australian, but Sheasel, for example, could be all Australian in 2 or 3 years. Whereas I don't see any Hawks young guys doing
Your list is a lot of could be's or I'm gunners. Until they do it, Hawthorn are ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
All I want to know is who bats deeper, and it's probably Hawthorn at this point for me, right? Simple as that.
Probably.
Right. Was 4 weeks fair for 2 metre Peter? Yeah, nah.
Nah.
So, launches himself, knocks out poor Harry Cunningham, and 4 weeks, I think that is fair. Me? Yeah.
He's very aggressive on this. Let's let Stats Guy go. Why is it not fair?
I think he was looking at the ball. I think Lloyd, I said this on the other show, Matthew Lloyd said he should have punched or gone for the mark. Outstretched arms. If his outstretched arms are like that, at the last minute, he's going to get broken ribs or something like that. He was protecting himself. I think he was looking at the ball. He even touched the ball. So that means the
Harry
ball.
Cunningham got his hands to the ball first.
The ball was in his vicinity, and I think he definitely should have jumped. That was careless, but I don't think 4 weeks. I think it should have been 1 or 2.
I think you should be allowed to contest. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think 4 weeks though is also like, hey, you've got a duty of care to a degree.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
but like if he
pull your
wasn't,
head in, don't try to knock a dude's block off.
if he didn't get knocked out, would he have got 1 or 2? That's
He
what
would have got
I don't-
time. His shoulder literally went into his face. He was always going to be cited. If Harry
Yeah.
wasn't knocked out, it's an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
And he would have got at least 2 weeks. But the fact that he knocked him into next week, he's concussed and has memory loss. 4 weeks is fair because it's on level with Sam Powell-Peppers and it's not worse than Jimmy Webster's.
I think there's also, what was it? It was Plowman a couple of years ago. They got 2 weeks, I think, and that was just because they were literally going for the contest. And he
That was the one where he went
just
for the-
went
yeah.
a little bit too high.
I think
I seen a clip this morning because Wayne Carey's like, I'm not going to watch football if this happens. Which
Oh
is
no!
great.
Oh,
Whatever
no.
will we all do?
He's not even in the media anymore.
But
so-
Wayne Carey is not watching footy. We need to change the game for Wayne Carey to make sure that Wayne Carey watches the game. What are we going to do, boys? Wayne Carey's not watching the footy anymore. It's all going to hell. Back it up. We're done.
We're done.
Oh no, the coffee's gone.
I've also knocked my coffee over.
But there was a clip that went around this morning of Wayne.
That was remarkable. It landed right way up.
Of Wayne Carey taking a mark, but also knocking out some Carlton dudes. Like Wayne Carey got to the ball first.
Yep. Nice one. All right. Sydney can't win a flag with their defense conceding 100 to Essendon. Yeah, nah.
Of course they can win the flag,
I don't know if they gave up 100 to Essendon. Yeah,
but
nah.
they still kicked 130.
He didn't answer the question.
Sydney
he said
can't win a flag.
He said,
so no, it's nah. Is it whatever? It's yes, they can win the flag. I'm confused.
I'm confused as
You're
well.
very confused.
The
in
wording of
general.
this is terrible, but yes, Sydney can win a flag. Yeah, they gave up 100 to Essendon, but that's something that Essendon do every couple of weeks. They kick 100 points and they still manage to lose the game. The Swans have kicked 130. They could come out and put 130 again this weekend onto Richmond.
Yep.
Their defense is good. It
Yep.
was just a slick game and a hotly contested game. I don't know why we're considering the Swans not winning a flag given they've belted Collingwood. And
That's another Barb's.
Barbs has gone, I can get Alex on this one. I'll agree with you on this one, though. I'm a yeah for them winning the flag. I think, when they're conceding 100, if they weren't getting to 130, if they only got to 110, you're like, ooh, can they get a big lead? But they got a big lead in the end. So
They didn't care. They're just like,
They're like,
we're
we'll
gonna
just score more.
the thing is, they also kicked, 19 goals, 17. If they kicked straight, it would have been 25 goals.
Nice.
True.
Big calls. Big calls. My big call is literally, when it comes to drugs, I'm pretty lenient. That's my vibe.
He's from Ballarat.
I tend to not give a rat's about what you're doing, especially in the off season.
Yeah.
Do not care. Like during the season, we can have as much testing as you want. All I ever want to see is transparency.
Yep.
And I think, to be honest, if there is a really well thought out drug code and we go, all right, this is a violation, and we're actually like, all right, it's a violation and the club's taking care of it, I think everyone would be fine with that. I think we have a degree of care to the players and their welfare and stuff like that.
Also,
that
society as a whole.
the Players Association needs to, sort of protect identities and gear like that. At the same time, you also might not want to do illegal drugs sometimes during the season.
Yeah, just don't do that.
So, but really, all I want is transparency. That's literally my big call. I think what we could do is you could go one way on the big call for this, right, and go, right, just absolute, go as hard as you can on illicit drug use and go, right, 1 strike, you're out. 2 strikes, you're out. Whatever. It sort of gets rid of the idea of strikes. But we could go that way. I think we probably ought to go maybe the other way and try to cushion the blow for most of this and just go, right, we're just going to be as open and transparent as we possibly can.
Would something like just say, insert random player from South Australia or Perth gets caught in the next year when we change over the system, and it's like, insert player here is in violation of the drug code for testing positive to cocaine on Tuesday afternoon. They missed 2 games. I reckon once you start naming and shaming, they'll be like,
People will stop doing it. Yeah, I agree with that.
We don't
I
want
agree with
that
that.
against our name.
Yeah.
It's also okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Because
Which happens in other sports, they do that. so,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's what I think what we'll see in that NBA example we're talking about. Like John Porter will probably get banned for life because Adam Silver will be like, this is what happens if you ban.
I can make an example
Yeah.
of someone. So
So
that's
AFL
what
needs to do that, yeah.
Naming and shaming sometimes is bad, but in this instance, I think it'd be good because it might turn them away from doing it.
Yep.
They are illegal substances.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, Alex, big call.
I'm just looking ahead to a game this weekend. I think Port will absolutely smash the Demons. 40 plus.
40 plus.
No Stephen May, no Melbourne. Let's go Port.
Oh.
Nice one. Stats boy.
Dacos to bounce back and have 40 touches. I think he's obviously was horrible. Oh, not horrible with
No, he was
touches.
crap.
He had 22
No,
touches, but his
he was
effect on the
horrendous.
game was really bad. I think he's going to have 40 and actually have a really good effect on this game. Or likes to play well against Brisbane. Perfect vice captain in SuperCoach, like we talked about on the SuperCoach official show. Yeah, so I think he's going to bounce back and prove to everyone that he's really good again. Alex, I think, mentioned that he might play off halfback as well. So
Yeah, there's been chat about that.
which I don't mind that to
We're
get a few
literally
more ball.
about to talk about that right now.
Oh.
In the Thursday night football preview.
Thursday night.
Review. Thursday night footy. Thursday night footy.
I was waiting for you to sing. Yeah.
Oh, I got that stuck in my head forever.
Need the boys are back. One to start playing again.
every week.
So, Thursday night football, we have a grand final rematch. And I may once again be at the pub to watch this. That's good.
Wooden Spoon Challengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
The
is
grand
pretty
final
fun.
rematch with both teams over to start the season.
Yeah.
This is at the Gabatoir as well. Brisbane take on Collingwood. Brisbane are 16.5-point favourites in this one, which seems a little bit too much for my blood.
I think.
But is it more that it's an overreaction to how bad Collingwood are when everyone forgets how bad Brisbane were against Fremantle?
This is true. But this being at the Gabatoir where they hadn't lost all of last season, then they lose to Carlton in round 0.
Like a point or whatever it was.
My heart is still not recovered from that game over. But 16.5 points, it feels like probably an overreaction, I'd say, to the Collingwood
I don't think it is.
form.
Yeah.
I think the overall odds, when you look at them, I think it is an overreaction to how bad Collingwood have been. And it's not like Brisbane, they're almost half forgotten because they played against Freo on a Sunday night and it was like,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so long ago.
Maybe Freo are better than we think, though, is the other thing.
I mean, they were 6 goals behind North Melbourne.
The over-under is 164.5, which at the Gabba, it tends to feel like they...
83 each,
Yeah, it's like that should be bang on, and you feel like the over is probably
Over, I
in
reckon,
play.
yeah. Yep.
Even with Collingwood's struggle to score. But the matchup to look forward to, I think, obviously here is like the Pies defense, and they've been run over time and time and time again
have.
so
Look
far.
shambolic.
And the Brisbane offense is one of the most potent in the league when it fires.
Usually, yes.
But it has not really fired so far this year.
It's almost like if Collingwood give those turnovers that they've been giving away so cheaply against this Brisbane lineup, it's like Brisbane could kick 130 points and you're not going to be shocked.
You know how I love to refer to Brisbane? Downhill skiers, flat track bullies.
Yeah,
They
that
love
made
this.
the grand final last year.
Yeah,
but
flat
anyway.
track bullies.
Again,
You
but
don't-
it's also, I'm with Jim. I don't think they have a killer punch. They get enough of a margin out ahead, and it's like, oh yeah, we're home, it's game over.
Yeah.
And then a good team decided to run them down.
And that's
round
kind of
one.
my point where I'm going to land on the Lions here because I think the Pies won't let them get too far ahead.
Yeah.
The Lions just sneak out a win though. But the key aspect for this one, you hit on this, right? Whether or not Dacos comes off the halfback flank or whatever, just plays back a little bit. Just
let
to
him run.
Let way more cheek
Yeah.
touches, let him go. Basically the sort of, I absolutely hate AFL media going, let him play the quarterback role off halfback. It's like, that's a different sport.
And it doesn't really work.
It doesn't make any sense because he's not lining up and then going,
gonna
I'm going
throw
to
it.
And he's
Yeah.
also not directing players around. He's like, just give me the ball.
just let him like control the flow of the traffic of what they're doing out of the back half. Simple as
Halfbacks
that.
dominate at the Gabba as well. A lot of teams like to go
Kitty
up the
Coleman.
guts through Kitty Coleman, like through the middle, like they do at the SCG. SCG and Gabba are really similar. Like teams like to play there because I was going to say it's a bit shorter, but I think we looked at that and they're not actually that much
I
shorter,
literally
but-
showed you yesterday. The SCG is 5 meters
Yeah.
shorter
Alex
than the
will
MCG.
punch you in the face.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna be that.
sick of that fallacy.
He's
Anyway.
like, do not besmirch the good name of the SCG.
Teams like to go up the middle a bit more, and I think off halfback, Dacos is gonna
It
do
does.
that.
It does. The conditions do allow for fast footy there.
Yeah.
The tip in the margin here, I'm going to go the Lions by 2 points. I think the offense is just too deep and too good. The midfield, the Lions, look, having that week off, I think that is just the absolute.
Lockie Neal is back, right?
Believe so.
Yeah,
It
that
seemed like
helps.
that was the plan.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he is, I think.
Lions by 2, just because I think they
2?
are so deep and so good. I think Collingwood tried to do their absolute utmost to do the Collingwood thing and sort of, run them down.
Yeah.
And I think Collingwood come up just a little bit short. I think that's my vibe on this game. I
Okay.
think the Gabatoir, Collingwood going on forward would be the biggest story in footy. The Lions losing their first 2 games at the Gabba of the season
Would probably be even worse,
would
probably,
be
yeah.
pretty rough.
Yeah.
And we sort of hit on this, I think, on last week's show. Could the Lions be the team that has the season from hell out of absolutely nowhere where you make the grand final?
I don't think so.
Thing is, it could also just be the Pies.
Yeah.
Collingwood look more shambolic in defence and forward. Like their forwards
They're
can't
not
get
kicking
going.
a
And
big
they're-
enough score,
all those
yeah.
little smart ass handballs and stuff that looked great last year and came off and it was fantastic. Other teams like, nah, not happening, and the pressure is elite.
Nice.
Can Brisbane bring it?
All right. Your pick?
Brisbane by 2 goals.
Nice.
2 goals.
That's boy.
I'm going Lions by 22. Obviously, the Pies conceded, I think it was 94 points to the Saints. A lot of people, I know that there might be a new Saints, but conceding 94 points against a Ross Lyon team is a lot. So I think Brisbane are going to put a massive score on them, at least 100 points. And I don't see the Pies having enough firepower to get over like 75 points.
I suppose it's more coming out of the first 2 weeks. Swans hit 100, GWS hit 114.
Yeah. So the Lions also had like the wood over the Pies, right? I think they've won
at home.
Yeah. Apart from the grand final last year, they've won 4 straight before that and into this one. So interesting gear. Very fascinating stuff. Can't wait for this.
Be
game
interesting to see the selection for Collingwood as well, like side bottom and Schultz under pressure. Apparently, like there's all the work. Finn McRae finally might start a game. Finally,
he's good.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Righto, round 3, SuperCoach tips, vibes, thoughts, stats boy. We broke this down on yesterday's show the SuperCoach show. Of course, it is another best 18, thanks to
which
the
is handy,
rounds, which is GWS, GWS and Gold Coast, which sucks because that's like half my team.
Yeah. And then next week we bounce back to full list because it's gather round, everyone plays, and then we go to the buys again.
Yeah,
chaos. We will be a gather round as well, so come say good day.
I'm hanging out.
Tip for me is obviously we broke this down in terms of your captaincy stuff. Dacos is the vice captain, just to let him have a crack and try to put up a big one against the Lions. Didn't work last week, 54. And
he got tagged last week.
And in terms of the captains, I ended up, I think, landing on someone like Heen, the Heen machine, Isaac Heaney, who's been Heen man. Heen man. Bont, Track. Couple of good ones out there. Tinglish is a really good one against West Coast.
A lot of people don't have him, but if you do, or if you can somehow fit him in, he's going to dominate West Coast. The Ruckman have been absolutely smashing
I
West
had to
Coast.
use 3 trades and I couldn't get Tinglish in.
No, he's probably still too expensive. It's not worth it.
Yeah, Grundy hasn't helped me out so far, but I'm going to vice captain Dacos and I'm going to captain Heaney because I could see Heaney having a Zach Butters-esque game where he has 30 and 3 and it's just like, sick, here's 170, boom.
Yep. Nice one. And we will preview the remaining round 3 games, well, the vast majority, all the other games of round 3 in tomorrow's Thursday team show, which we'll be doing for AFL Today, which we do each week, which is really cool. Because that's it for today. Remember, kids, stay off the drugs. And that's it, I think. Thank you, Alex.
Special. Cheers.
Thank you, Stats Boy.
Thank you.
And remember to smash a like across all the socials for AFL Today to see us doing stuff. And especially gather round, because that's where we'll be. We'll be all over the socials across this weekend as well, because it is a huge weekend of Easter footy, but we'll be back tomorrow for the Thursday team show anyway. So subscribe, star, and like this show and all of our shows across your favourite podcast app. That includes the Cricket Today podcast, the Football Today podcast, NBA Australia, NFL Australia, and soon, fingers crossed, NRL Today. Get around all of those, like Tony Plugger Lockett, around a servo saucy roll in 1988. Just, fanging back up past Bungaree and away you go. Simple as that. All right, but that's it. We'll catch you tomorrow for more AFL Today. Until then, look after yourselves, would you? And footy's back.